Jordan, happy to be here with you. I was just making a joke, Hal. You're the host of this tourney. You're casting this tourney. And you're the only person on your team that's still remaining as of now. So you are like full on carrying your whole team right now. A lot of bragging rights. And we've got Miguel, the Brazilian, in the red playing as the Magyars. And then in the blue, we have Villese. Should be a banger.
T90, before I comment your statement there, first of all, thanks for being here with me as well. It's always a pleasure to cast with you. And you know, T90, when I'm playing tournament games, I'm always putting a little bit more pressure onto me. And now with that comment, I have even more.
There you
so
go.
Thanks for that.
You're welcome. I know you perform so well under pressure. That's what it is. So I'm trying to help you.
Yeah, that makes sense. T90, you have mentioned already that both of them are so extremely close together. And Plateau is kind of the map where the players are rather close than further away. But this is a very special spawning, I would claim.
Yeah, a special's a good word for it. And I don't know if Villese will know that. And oh man, he notices the both players on it. I think Miguel also saw the scout for Villese, but he doesn't know exactly where the TC is. Both of these civs pretty set up to be aggressive here. The Magyars get forging for free starting in feudal. They have very cheap scouts, so something like a scout rush is common for them. And Bulgarians, they get the men-at-arm upgrade for free. So I think right off the bat, it's going to come down to who's limiting the amount of damage the other one does in the first couple minutes of feudal.
Exactly. I feel like both civilizations are very good on this map because it's inviting for aggression as you're spawning so close to each other, and also the map overall is very open. And that's where Magyars and Bulgarians, even though they are more considered as the lower tiers, are definitely having a lot of potential here. And in general, T90, what do you think, how Villese and Miguel, how should they fare against each other? Who would you say has the advantage here?
Okay, so I always have a bit of a Miguel bias because I talk to him a lot more than many of the other pros and whatnot.
Yep.
It's interesting. It's like every time I'm talking to Miguel, asking him how he's doing, what his feeling like, what his preparation's like, he ends up maybe having a result which isn't what he could have achieved.
Yeah, exactly.
This tournament, I haven't been talking to him at all, Jordan. And I looked at his account. He's got like, in ranked games, he's at like 21 wins and 3 losses, taking like big names down on the ladder. He also 3-0'd Dogao in the group stage and 3-1'd Dark. So, I mean, I guess it's positive that I don't really know about Miguel, but I do think he's in really good shape right now. So we'll see.
I see where you're going. So literally what you're trying to say is the less you talk to him, the better he performs in tournament games, right?
Correct. The less I pay attention to him, and the less I like predict him winning, I think the better he performs. Correct.
Okay. I think the next thing he's going to do after today is block you from Discord. Just
he should, really.
Yeah, and you cannot even be mad at him. You'd like, it makes sense.
No. Well, I will also add this. I mean, form is really important, and it day to day everything can be different. But I was a little underwhelmed with Villese's performance in the team game show match I saw yesterday. There were 2 instances where I was like, wow, that's not like Villese.
The first game,
for example? Overall, maybe Miguel is playing more towards his peak, and maybe Villese is a little bit below that.
Yeah.
And maybe this goes to 5 games here.
Yeah. I would not be surprised. I mean, I still see Villese being the favorite of this one, but you briefly talked about it. Like Miguel, he has always been for me that kind of player that can beat anyone if he has a good day, and has always had, compared to the skill set he has, not the adequate results in tournaments. And that's why I'm very happy for him to finally have achieved the top 8. And now he has a chance to go even to the semifinals.
Yeah, now, big thing to mention as well that I think some players have struggled with over the years is what civs are you picking? And what's the meta for this map? And with the settings you've chosen here, you're picking civilizations for the enemy, which I think is very different and is maybe more in line with what you would encounter in a random civ game on Arabia, which players encounter on the ladder.
Yep.
So,
exactly.
I mean, a lot of factors here, but Villese has come forward with 2 militia.
Yep.
He did not go for man-at-arms. He actually went for 2 militia drush, and Miguel has walled everything out nicely here.
Yeah, Miguel is safe at home. He scouted everything beforehand, and now Villese is forced to attack the middle. That's not the ideal situation for him, but he was not able to get any villager kills here. And T90, you have reached 2k3 very, very recently. So that must make you feel being in a position where you're saying, okay, I know most of the time what kind of players are going to come, right?
I don't know if like 80 elo has really made a difference in that, Jordan.
let's just
I feel like
let's just assume it does.
yeah. Thanks for bringing that up, by the way. I'm like not gonna play ranked for a few more days before I lose all the points, but no, I mean I feel pretty confident. You know, we all feel confident because it's easy to talk, and then we make wrong guesses all the time. So, oh man, there's a hole here for Villese.
Yeah, there's
right through that wood line.
But Miguel, he is not taking advantage of that one. We have Miguel. He has reached fuel age right now. And so far, it looks very equalish to me, T90. I'm not sure how we would assess the situation.
Well, I think Miguel's going to struggle to get his wood upgrade here. Like, he had to push a final deer in, and he had to get man-at-arms. And Villese delayed his uptime a little, plus gets man-at-arms for free. So I think if Miguel can't find damage... And he might... Uh-oh, he sees the deer. This could be huge, Jordan.
Yeah, the deer, that especially at this time, the economy is so fragile. And he indeed is charging against those villagers now. And Villese, he needs to retreat as soon as possible. Nice job by...
At the same time, the golds. And Miguel has to abandon the gold. So this is high-pressure stuff.
Yeah.
On both sides.
Yeah, Villese taking a lot of shots from the TC, though. And he lost one villager, might even lose the second one.
No way, Miguel. No way. He gets 2 of them.
Wow.
And also, that final TC shot tanked everything for Villese. Villese lost his scout. He lost a man-at-arm, and now he's down to 1. That was amazing for Miguel.
Wow, that was a perfect minute here for Miguel here. And we also have to keep in mind those 2 villagers, they also had a lot of food in them, or on them. So...
yeah.
It is going to be very tough right now. And look at the archer range of Villese. That one is looking, not so good right now.
Yeah, that's a panic archer range.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like the walling idea with the palisades, it's just not what this map does. I mean, next to the wood line, I like it. But I'm talking about in front of his base.
Yeah.
Like, that's normally not going to do much for you. So, Villese very much has to react right now.
Yeah, for sure. And also very odd how Villese has... Where's Villese taking his goal? Like, that's surprising to me. That's very surprising.
Yeah. I mean, maybe the man-at-arm pressure came in at the right time in that area, and Miguel doesn't even seem to know about that right now.
Yeah.
But he does see the tower, so maybe he should switch his focus to that gold.
Yeah, and that's exactly what he does. A very, very smooth play by Miguel right now. We have Villese going up with the blacksmith, and Fletching is going to follow. If we look at the village account, it's still equal. So Miguel has a way more idle TC than Villese does.
Yeah, I think it was probably in that period where he had to garrison his TC and use the scout to block the vills.
Yep.
I still think at the end it's worth it, though, because, like you said, the villagers had the food in their hands. Yep. And also just the momentum of the game. He's still got army to work with, and Villese just has the range units.
Yeah, exactly. Now we have Fletchingen for Villese. Remembering that Bulgarians research the upgrades 80% faster, and also it's cheaper. And maybe in the front he's going to be able to deny that villager building the blacksmith.
Ooh. That's true. That was nifty little micro there from Miguel.
Yeah.
He's like, choose the Vill or my army, and I'm not going to allow you to get either. That was very well done.
Yeah, for sure. And now the blacksmith is up, and he can get the fletching. And fletching is just so crucial in those kind of moments, T90.
Well, there's skirms, though, for Villese, and the man-at-arms could be helpful, but they're not here right now.
Yeah.
So this is actually a really good comeback for Villese here with his ranged units, and that's I think, what separates the two. Miguel loves knights. He loves eco plays, and Villese is all about the tiny little micro plays with man-at-arm archer.
Exactly. And he has armor already in. So those skirms are not going to die against those archers anytime soon. The man-at-arm is taking some shot from the TC here, so that should go down. And now, I mean, Miguel, he has the tower as a defensive standpoint on the wood line, so he's not going to take any damage here. But man, these archers, they are low on HP.
Yeah, I think Miguel right now, Little imbalance, just like a little bit. The double lumber camp for Velez is looking a lot better right now for his
Yep.
wood income. Miguel only has 6 on wood. He's got 5 on gold. He almost has too much on the berries too. So Miguel's going to have to sort this out, but I think he can probably address his army. He's got the range units out now, and he should be able to push back.
Yeah, for sure. Very interestingly enough, after all what happened, Villese has managed to be ahead in terms of the villager. Well, it's equal now, but he still has a slight advantage there. And yeah, those 2 men-at-arms in Villese's base, they might be able to find another kill here.
I think it's almost better for Miguel if he loses those because he's put so much focus on them. So, just let him die, force the garrison. Now you can focus on your ranged micro.
Yeah. And now let's see, the gold miners are completely harassed by those archers, and that's going to be very annoying for Miguel to deal against. He didn't lose any villager though, but man, Villese is getting a lot of shots from the TC here.
Yeah. Again, Jordan, just looking at the other side, and we saw a lot of that in the Jordan. Wow. Yeah. We saw a lot of that in the previous series, didn't we? With Dow and ACCM. And man, they're just so close. It feels like normally you would want to be one range, macro your way to Castle Age, but I would have loved to see double archer range from one of these players.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that too much as well, because it is just so easy to get damage done if you have the army advantage, and you're always going to have the map control, right? So that's something which is very, very valuable. And now Miguel going for the market, so we are going to be able to see him playing around with the resources a bit. I think if things are going well for him, he could be up to a cast stage a bit faster, but T90, Villese is going for 4 on zone right now. So do you think we will see some aggression with towers from him?
Well, what I like about towers, and I don't think it'll be aggression, I think it's more defensive, but if you make the defensive towers, then you can leave your base a little bit more freely. So I think his issue right now is he wants to move forward with his army, and I think after this tower is placed, he will be able to do that.
Yep.
And there he goes. So this is actually real good for Velez. For Miguel, he's just struggling for army numbers right now. He doesn't have the production, and his archery range hasn't produced a unit in about a minute or two, and that's been the difference.
Yeah, and that's a huge thing, and you definitely want to have your archer range producing constantly, because now he's going to be falling behind in terms of the army numbers, and the archer range is still not adding anything to the table.
Ooh, and if he gets to gold, he can go full doubt style and just use the market, right?
Yeah.
So that would be a positive for him, but he's got to wall it up right now. And I'm liking Velez's position again, because Velez has a healthy eco. He has working farmers. Miguel has lots of idols, and I think it brings it right back to that archer range not producing for Miguel.
Yeah, exactly. I think he was expecting him to be able to go to Castle Age without taking too much damage, and then just, ignore the range play completely and fully focus onto the night play. But man, he has a oversaturated gold mining right now. And yeah, he's up to Castle Age, yes, but Villese is not trailing behind too much here. He goes up to Castle Age as well, roughly 20 seconds later. And we have the stable coming up for Villese, and Miguel is going to do the exactly same.
I love Velez's position is looking so much better now. 7 farms versus 19.
Going stable.
19 farms. Yeah, and they're both going to go stables. I mean, you're going to have to buy everything if you're Miguel.
Yeah.
He won't have to buy the upgrades, though, thankfully. He will get the attack upgrades for free, at least.
The attack, yeah. But that's also the reason why we see him heavily committing onto the gold, because he knows he doesn't want to commit too much onto the skirms anymore, because they are not going to be scaling scaling at all. And therefore, he is kind of abandoning 6 or 7 farms here. And that's not the situation you want to be in, especially if you want to go for the night play, as they cost a lot of food.
I like the patience here from Velez. He's happy to have forced his opponent off of all these farms.
Yep.
So he just continues to stay here. He knows he can't hit the wood. He could try and hit other areas, but this is a given. This is going to happen. He's going to deny this if he stays, and that's what he's done. So good stuff from him.
Yeah, for sure. On the northern side, he has 4 archers here, but I don't think they're going to be, achieving too much here. And it's literally now about who is going to be able to spam out more knights here. And also, the monastery is going to be a very crucial building for both players.
Yeah. Sounds a little bit wild, but if you're this close and you feel like you're not going to have the knights, maybe even double monastery. I don't know. I find that the knight numbers are all that's going to matter in these situations. Forget the TCs, forget everything. So here goes Villese. He gets +2 armor right away, and here he comes with knights.
Yeah. Wood upgrade coming in for him as well. We have Miguel going for scaleboarding armor himself, and as you mentioned, he has iron casting already for free, so that's very helpful for Magyars. But overall, I think Villese should be in a much better position due to the fact that his farm economy just looks so much healthier.
But he didn't add a monastery here, Jordan.
Yeah, that's true.
And I mean, the TC's good. I really like that. But there's a concern that his whole wood area in the south, if he doesn't secure that with a TC, could be a problem in the next couple minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Everything is very exposed here. And yeah, now Villese is adding the monastery, but you know, it feels like Miguel definitely has some potential of doing something, especially if Villese is doing the mistake of adding economy too early.
Yeah, and that's like he's trying to balance this as nicely as possible here, Villese. I'm sure he can do it, but the pressure from Miguel, he's actually pulling the weak knights away very nicely here.
Beautiful.
That was so well done. And Villese doesn't have a monk yet.
Yeah, very nicely done by Miguel. He didn't lose any knight in the process. And yeah, now we have another engagement against the monk here. Is he getting the conversion? It's so... Oh, he got the conversion. Didn't he?
I think he didn't. I think the knight died.
Ah, okay.
But still, a very big deal. And this is what we talked about with the early TCs. So Miguel could maybe just heal up some of those knights and then try and hit the wood line, man. Hit the wood line with 2 knights and Villese is in big trouble.
Yeah, it's like, can even be game deciding, right? And I think that's exactly what Miguel is going to go for now. And Villese, he's going for DC. Oh, that is very ambitious.
Try and wall it.
There's
going to be a hole somewhere here, surely. Like, if the knights attack a palisade or a house, surely there's going to be a hole.
Ah, cube mod.
Wow. Yeah, well played, man. That was very well done. Yeah. As Miguel just passes with 2 knights right past the monastery. No monk was there, though, Jordan. So that's a big concern for Villese. Like, even with the TCs, this could be a slight concern. Magyar Knights, no joke.
That's definitely a unit you have to respect. Miguel, on the other side, he is adding the second TC now as well. And I like the timing for Miguel so much better. Because, yes, he has the TC way later, yes. But the idle TC time for him is not going to be as high as it would be in theory for Villese. And I know the stats are saying something different. I'm trying to save myself here. But
it's funny, I literally clicked the idle time off screen when you said it. I was like, I gotta save Jordan's reputation here.
Oh, no. Well, the thing is, Villese has put in the food for the villagers instead of getting the knights out.
Yeah.
You can only do one.
He's lost 4 eco this game. He hasn't killed a single Vill.
Yep.
And so Miguel kind of has the control for the time being. And I don't think it's a great sign. Granted, it is a good unit to switch into. I don't think it's a good sign that Villese has gone too stable and is now going pikeman. That tells me that he feels like he can't compete with the knights.
Exactly. And Villese, he has a lot of villages queued up in the TCs. So definitely not something you want to have right now. You want to have 2 villages maximum in TCs in order to have more food accessible for you to research upgrades, get maybe military numbers out. And yeah, I mean, right now it feels still kind of equalish. Both players have economy behind that, but Villese on the right hand side, he's taking some damage as well against those knights. And they are not +2 yet, so they're not as dangerous as they usually could be.
Yeah, love Miguel's approach. However, Villese, the stone's paying off, and he soon will have the stone to drop a castle. And I don't know, it looks like he's actually choosing Krepost.
Yep.
But, you know, that is something that Bulgarians have, and he does have the villager lead, so there's still that pressure for Miguel to either get on the 3rd town center as well, or to get some damage in with the knights.
Exactly, and T90, you mentioned that a bit earlier, that Miguel, he is not known really to be the ranged units player, but he's definitely known to be the knight player, and that's something we already see him doing. He's capitalizing on the mobility, he's capitalizing on the army strength, and he's getting a lot of damage done onto Villese.
And the other knights are going in at the same time. Now, they're up against pikemen. That could hurt Miguel.
Yeah.
But that's still, I think, a really good fight. The monks trying to get conversions, hopping in and out of the TC, and he actually gets a bunch of them. But look at the aftermath. There's villagers everywhere on the ground.
Yeah, exactly. That was a good raid by Miguel. However, I feel like Villese has done a great job defending here. with
Oh, and on
the...
the other side, Jordan, sorry to
Oh,
interrupt.
no!
Those 2 knights have killed 4 villagers. Miguel has to look at that.
Oh, God. That must be devastating for Villese right now. Whenever something like that happens, it's really bad. And also, Villese is trying to get some counter rates himself, but he's not able to find the same damage T90 as Miguel did.
Yeah, so I just looking back at the eco, right? It's a little random for Velez. I feel like for Miguel, he's got a lot more structure to everything. He's adding the third TC. He doesn't have 400 random stone floating in the bank. What I'd love to see from Miguel, and maybe this is too ambitious, you tell me, Jordan, but I would love to see him get +2 armor and try and focus on that TC in the south right now.
Yeah, for sure.
It feels like it's so exposed. There's only 3 villagers there, I guess, but still.
Yeah. That must be the play right now for Miguel, and I would honestly be surprised that if he doesn't do so. And you look for Villese. Usually with Bulgarians, you want to be the aggressor, and you want to be able to place those Krapos into the front, but that's not what we are seeing from Villese right now. And even if you're thinking about long term, you don't want to go to the long term gameplay against Magyars, because they are one of the scariest civilizations to face against if we're talking about open maps.
Yeah. That said, Miguel's adding a ram here, so Miguel's thinking I've still got to go for the kill, and he's going to see that Krepost, and Velez is actually adding Conics, which are a little better than a Knight.
Yeah.
So this is something that, I mean, it's becoming more and more difficult for Miguel to try and kill Velez if those Kreposts are going up. So here goes Miguel.
Yeah, but the south side, Miguel, he is doing the best he can with the units, but Villese, he is standing very nicely with the defense. And now Miguel, he has to disengage here, I feel like.
He does get 1 conversion, was super unlucky to not get more there.
Yeah.
He's kind of too far into the engagement to back out.
Yeah.
And he just clears up the units that used to be his. He's like, die traitor, and comes in with another monk. And I mean, this is still idle time for Velez.
Exactly.
Miguel's TCs are still producing. I feel like the idle time is really catching up with Velez, but at the same time, he's got so much defense. It's such a close game.
Yeah. It feels like if we're taking a look at Miguel's... Okay. If we're taking a look at Miguel's idle TC timing, he has not been as smooth as he could be with that gameplay. And Villese, he has, after all that happened, a 10 villager lead. He has more army as well. So he has the population advantage of 15 right now, T90.
Yeah. Also got a bunch of conversions. And he has the better unit in the Conic.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
I mean, there's so many pros and cons, right?
Yeah.
But now I look at Velez's eco to the north, where he's got a Conic. He's starting to invest into those farms. The only thing I'd say that he really needs to lock down more of around the outer ring would be gold.
Yeah.
But I'm just waiting for that next Krepos. This next Krepos for Velez has to be in the middle, surely.
Now, I'm really curious if Miguel gets a glimpse of the farm economy of Villese, and he just barely misses that one. And that could have been... Okay, never mind. He's rerouting, and it looks like he's going to be able to find those farmers. And man, these are very exposed.
Yeah, and Miguel just has to notice it, and he's going to go in. Now, what this could do is it gives Velez an opportunity to go in at Miguel's base, and he also saw Miguel was adding an archer range, which I guess means cav archers for him, but farmers going down on both sides, idle time on both sides. The Vil count's still really even, but it looks easier for Velez to clear up Miguel's army than it does for Miguel to clear up Velez's army.
Yeah, definitely agree. We have Villese with 22 army versus the 11 of Miguel, and the only thing Miguel has in the front right now is army, but nothing in the back. And he has to fully rely on the TCs right now to do the defense. And as Villese has +2 already, he doesn't mind that too much. Oh, what did we miss?
This is bad. You got 3 Conics on the left, and then you had that one knight near the villagers all the way to the north.
Yeah.
I don't know how Velez is everywhere at once, but he's in 3 different spots. This would be the perfect time for a game-ending castle in the middle.
Exactly. This is looking very good for Villese right now. He has done the count damage, and the villager numbers were equal for a moment. But yeah, Villese killed so many villagers, and Miguel is forced to tap out of the first game here.
Really nice game. Honestly,
yeah, for sure.
Really nice game. Like, it's hard for me. I mean, we can look at Miguel's TC idle time and say, you know, that could have been better, but that can happen when you have full queue of knights because you're consistently queuing up knights. So, I mean, I think we just saw that the defensive approach for Velez paid off more.
For sure.
You know, the lower numbers of knights into eco was the approach that ended up working out, and he just made it so difficult for Miguel to apply the killer blow.
Yeah.
And at this stage of the game, I mean, I'm really happy with the fact we saw Conics because we so rarely see Conics.
Yeah, and they're
He had
amazing.
the better army comp with the
Yeah.
better eco, so
Yeah.
solid
Yeah.
first game.
Yeah, for sure. This was one of the better plateau games I've seen because it has gone a bit longer than usual, and
Mhm.
we have seen the night play out. And
Yep.
Miguel definitely had the advantage early on. It felt like after reaching Castle Age with the earlier monastery and healing up his knights, beautiful micro of the knights, pulling back the weak ones, and Villese, he was really struggling to get the economy going, also losing a lot of villagers in the south side on his TC, but he somehow made it possible. Okay.
All right, so Miguel has picked
Naivasha.
a map I don't know how to say. Navasia? Navashasha? I can't see it. And then Costa Mountain for home maps, so we'll see what he goes for next.
Well, T90, I'm already in game number 2.
Oh, my bad. I'll catch up. How do you say that, by the way? You're the king of pronunciations.
Naivasha.
That sounds good.
I'm 100% I'm 100% sure it's wrong, but it sounds good, right?
Yep. I like it. Okay, so catching up to speed here.
Mhm.
Miguel playing as the Saracens and Velez the Sicilians. I recall watching you cast Daniel versus I think it was Bad Boy. Or
Okay,
no,
yeah.
it was Bat.
Say my name. Say my name.
Yeah, one of them. And that's the only time I've seen this map.
Okay.
So there's early water focus, and then there's a lot of focus on the golds and stones, but I don't know if I'm missing anything else here.
Exactly. Yeah, that's literally it. This is the map which was the replacement for Kavasan. I wanted to get another hybrid map in there, something which is completely new, and that's what this map is about. And wow, what is Villese doing? He has misclicked
No
heavily.
clue.
He has misclicked heavily. Did you see that?
Yeah, I don't even know how to explain the misclick, to be honest.
You can't. I mean, he was like, you can't. Strange.
Yeah, look at it on the positive side. He was
Not
he
losing
was
anything.
increasing the morale of the zebra before eating it, because that would allow the other zebras to be lured more easily.
Yeah. Okay. That's a 300 IQ perspective right there.
All right, so do you think we're gonna see galleys here for the Saracen player, because the galleys do fire faster?
I think so. Yeah. And right now, I'm not really sure what is the best way to approach this one. Do you go for fire galleys? Do you for galleys? T90, what would you suggest?
Well, I think if your build order is really, really good, you can go for the galleys. But the reason I don't like the galley play is because of how far the fish seem to be away from the docks.
Mhm.
And it's like they're always going to find your fish,
Mhm.
right? And so ideally, like there are moments where if you're going on water and you need to buy time as they're coming in with fire galleys and you're going galleys, you can kind of hide your fish and put them to the side.
Yep.
But you can't really do that here. The fish is just right smack in the middle.
Mhm.
The other reason I prefer fires is because fires, you don't need as many fires to be as effective,
Yep.
which means you could justify switching into a barracks, an archer range, or stable.
Exactly.
Whereas with galleys, you're like all in on galleys. You have no choice.
Exactly. With the galleys, you want to have the full focus on the water, and ideally you don't want to focus on anything else. And with fire galleys, you can justify to do both things at once, land and water, because the fire galleys, they're strong by themselves and they don't need too much micro, while the galleys, they need a lot of babysitting. And if you babysit them, they're strong in the fire galleys. But it always depends on how much you can really pay of an attention to those.
Yep. Yeah, I did play a couple games with Miguel prior to the qualifier, if you remember, and
Okay.
we had a lot of conversations around the hybrid stuff, and I think that's a good match against Velez, because Velez is just so good on the land maps.
Yeah, yeah. And especially, I feel like Miguel has the biggest strengths in hybrid maps and booming in general. So that's exactly where his home maps have always been lying, the hybrid maps. And he has been very successful in the past with those in the Resurgence.
All right, so Velez tried to go up very fast, didn't quite have the resources for it, and had to queue another Vil after Loom.
Yep.
And then Miguel is already on the way up. This is his as hybrid map as it gets. He lets the goat and the rhino just fade away, and he's sending most everything over to wood and over to golds, and he's gonna try and get onto 2 docks, maybe even 3 here for the water.
Yeah, that is something I will pay close attention to if any of them is committing to the third dock, because usually what we see is 2 docks from both, or from a player, and then it depends on the scouting information what you are going to go for.
Yeah. But you're faster here if you're Miguel. You have faster firing galleys. I wouldn't personally go for the galleys. I think it's really tough to justify, but we'll see what he does here because he's gone with 3 fishing ships. The standard, I would say, is normally 4.
Yeah, it depends. And if you're spawning so close to each other, then usually what we see is 3. Because if you're adding the 4th fishing boat, means that your economy is not going to be there to sustain 2 dock production, or even getting the 2nd dock up. So Villese, he has gone for the 4 anyway, but he has also gone up with 20 villages instead of 19.
Yeah, Miguel, I think he's going to be a little frustrated because he was trying to deny the dock. Villese the same. Both players tried to deny the dock, but Miguel was faster to feudal, missed the opportunity. And 2 docks for both. I don't think there's any real bonuses we need to talk about yet for these civs, but there's plenty to come, as we have the galleys now for Miguel.
Fire galleys for Villese, and in general it's also very interesting. I haven't looked at the civilization draft because things have gone a bit too fast, but Sicilians on a map like this is not something which you would think of right away.
Yeah. I kind of like Saracens. If you lose water, so you lose fish, you can just YOLO onto the market and buy food.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, civs aside, Miguel needs to win this one to win the series. I don't see Villese losing 3 straight games to Miguel today.
I don't think so as well. Now Miguel, he's trying to make something happen with those 2 galleys, and he should be very successful in doing so. The fire galleys come out in time though, so maybe he's able to grab one. No, never mind. And now the microing happens.
Yeah, this is just where this is where problems happen, right? You're focused so much, and now his dock villager's getting attacked, and that villager's gonna die.
Yep.
The only thing I would like about the galley opening is if you killed their fish as well. So if you kill their fish, then maybe it won't be the end of the world here.
Yeah. Now we have the scout of Miguel going down plus the villager. And that is a huge thing, because on these kind of maps, scouting information is your best friend. And not having that scout alive is going to be potentially, dangerous.
Also, the moment that scout went down, there's a villager for Villese. I don't know if he's going to add a 3rd dock, as we have a pause, but Villese is sending a villager that looks like it could loop around.
Yeah,
and maybe sneak something to the other side.
It definitely looks like that. I don't expect the 3rd dock. That would be really surprising to me, because adding a 3rd dock in this kind of situation doesn't make any sense, because the fire galley, if you have a bit more fire galleys, it doesn't really make your army stronger. The galleys are always going to be able to microwave from you, and therefore it would have been wasted resources. So I'm pretty confident that's going to be a forward approach by Villese.
Okay, I'm gonna make a prediction right now.
Okay,
this is so far in advance. Ready?
Go ahead, T90. I'm ready.
Miguel's gonna get housed at 35 pop, and he's gonna research Town Watch. Villese is gonna come in with an army from the north at some point. And it's gonna run by that house, but because Town Watch is in, Miguel's gonna see it, and it won't surprise him as much.
Where did you pull that one off?
That's just welcome to my brain.
Wow, I'm jealous.
You shouldn't be jealous, because when you're in the game, you're like, okay, I know I need to do this, but that's where my brain goes, and then I'm like, oh, do I get Town Watch? Where do I go? And I'm like imagining all this stuff that isn't true, Jordan. It's not good.
What? No, but just the creativity is something I'm jealous about. Like, I would never be able to come up with something like that. I would okay, I'll look at the game, and okay, this is how it works, this is what comes next, and blah, blah, blah. It's always, always the same. But,
you be jealous of me, and I'll be jealous of you.
Yeah.
That's just how it goes. Apparently, we'd make the perfect team, Jordan, so.
That's nice.
So what is the plan for Villese with this villager, though? Because when I think sneak, I always prefer to have the barracks at home, because if they go scouts or whatever, you can make spearmen.
Yep.
And then the second reason is, you don't want to wait. Like, you have the wood right now if you're Velez. You don't want to run forward, add the barracks, then add whatever your follow-up building is.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
Archers with Sicilian? Scouts? What are you thinking?
I would assume it's going to be archer play because that's most of the time what we are going to see. But, you know, let me quickly check because they apparently... Yeah, so apparently Miguel only started with one ostrich, which is not ideal. Yeah, so I think what we could be getting into is a restart situation. Yeah.
Oh, you're right, actually. He has 1, and there's 4 for Velez.
But where do you see that? Like,
In Capture Age, you can go back to the start.
okay. Yeah, that must be a
So
restart.
you press
then, I suppose.
press T. I think T
Yeah.
is the command.
Mhm.
If you have Pro, anyways, you can go back.
Yeah.
So there's 1 zebra next to the mill for Miguel, and then there's 4 next to the shoreline for Velez.
Yeah. Nice. Let me quickly check because that for me
That or
is,
just restarting the wreck. Yeah, I imagine either he was contacted and didn't get the message for a bit, or he was like, wait a second.
One sec.
Yeah, take your time.
Oh.
I mean, I think a positive here, if we end up having to replay this, is simply the fact that this is not a map where, with the tournament structure, it's not like you're hiding what civs you're going to pick because they give you the civs anyways, and then both players are probably going to have these types of openings every time.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, that sucks that we just realized it. That's on us. We should be saying something, man.
Yeah, for sure. I'm trying to message Miguel. Let me try to get him.
Yep, take your time. Yeah, so as it stands, it is still winnable for Miguel, but his opponent has taken 3 zebras, whereas he only had 1.
Yeah.
Which is like a 300 food difference, especially if it was taken early.
Yeah, it's too much. It's too much.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he's not responding. I will try it. Maybe they're on voice.
What was the reason for the pause? Did they not pause it?
Yeah, Miguel paused and says that... You mean now? Have they paused again? No, right?
Oh, I'm not actually playing at this point.
Oh, okay. No, they're playing again, so...
Okay, well, what are we? Do you want to follow the game? What are you thinking?
Yeah,
I could message him on Steam, but I don't know if he'll get...
I've messaged him, but he's not responding, unfortunately. Yeah, that sucks.
Okay.
Well... yeah, not ideal, for sure.
Well, I mean, we could follow it.
Yeah, no, we will follow it. We will follow it.
Yeah,
so,
and like from an admin perspective, as I'm catching up, if Miguel wins, it's not an issue.
Yeah, I know. But what happens if the other thing happens? Let's see.
Yeah.
Okay, so
alrighty, well, I'm all
left,
caught up then, and we do have the stable on the left side for Velez.
Exactly. So Villese has gone for the stable here. And I think Miguel should be able to wall in time here, T90. But Villese is going for Castle Age right away.
Yep. Velez on the way up. Also got Horse Collar. I missed when it was because of the pausing and whatnot. But his farms, any new farms are going to be looking good with the amount of food they have on it.
Yep.
Transport ship, though, for Miguel. He's going to transport archers across the middle instead of going around the side.
Yep. Interesting. I'm not the biggest fan of the additional third dock. I think that wood could be spent... No, ideally you build the dock in the middle. If you have the dock in the middle, that's going to be so good.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think the timing here is going to be crucial for Miguel. He's got 3 archers, about to be 4. And if he's able to get some damage in, there's no stable at home for Velez. But Velez is also Sicilian, so if he doesn't get there fast, Velez is going to be able to just drop a town center. And then Velez will be pretty protected, I think, and be able to get a knight over there.
Exactly. So the next few seconds are going to be so important because Miguel has the potential to deal a lot of damage. And yeah, on the other side, if Villese is up to the castle age fast enough, then he can defend with a well-placed TC, as you mentioned, T90. And he has the No way! No way! Look at the stable of Villese.
Oh, God. Just Age of Empires things. Oh, God.
No.
He has to be careful. If he I would honestly not delete that scout. Because if you do, that could happen again with a knight.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, and the archers are going right where the TC was going to go up, Jordan.
Yeah.
So Miguel's going to get a kill here. He's going to get one kill, and he takes his opponent off of gold.
Yeah.
And he could get even more kills here.
I think he will get 3 in total, maybe even 4 if Villese is not paying attention. No, he will have 3 kills, and this is looking very, very good for Miguel right now. And he's about to reach... Oh, no! There is a hole!
No!
There is a hole!
Oh, and now, if there wasn't a hole there, he'd be fine.
Yeah.
He would have been fine. I mean, he's got the stables. He could still make camels, but disaster for Miguel now.
God, this is so bad. This is so, so bad.
They're both ready. You're probably going to get a message from Miguel. It's not going to be about the zebra. It's going to be about those trees. Like, why do I have these trees in my map?
Oh, yeah. Oh god, that is by far not ideal here, and Miguel is taking a bit of damage here, a lot of idle time caused by those knights, and we're not like these are Sicilian knights, right? So they're not taking any damage or barely any damage from those spearmen.
Miguel does have food eco on the water. I think the thing that bothers me about Miguel is that he's maybe not using the market as much as he could.
Yeah.
Like with the Saracens, you're fine if you just, you pull yourself over to wood and you just sell some stuff for the time being. So he went back to the gold. He maybe thought he could wall it up. It feels like Villese is one step ahead of him. Because Villese already has the monks here.
And he was able to save that knight as well, which was down to 5 HP. And man, it looks like Villese is having the upper hand right now, even though he's lacking in terms of the water. And now killing the 2 spearmen. Not losing anything except the scout. And on the right hand side, we have Miguel with 8 villagers expanding onto the gold as well.
Yep. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I would like to see a little wall, perhaps, from like that house to the edge of the map, just to keep these armies away. But it's also possible Villese will overextend a little bit. Villese, though, for the second straight game, has invested into the TCs faster and into horse collar faster. So his normal food eco, his long-term food eco is much better than Miguel's.
Yep. For sure. This is not looking the best for Miguel right now. He's training down behind in three villagers, and now a lot of villagers could be killed. Oh, nice quick wall by Miguel here. Very nicely done by him.
And if life is fair, he should get a conversion there. So
life ain't fair.
It looks like the knights are trying to leave. There's the conversion.
Yeah, it was a low HP knight though, so in theory could have been a bit better for no way. Okay, he does not get the walls up. That would have been a bit too fancy. But, you know, I think Villese doesn't mind this situation because, as you mentioned, he's booming behind as well, having 2 TCs already, and he's going to be able to get the 3rd one pretty soon as well.
Yeah, for Miguel, it's like, you got so many things you need to do, but I love the idea. He must sense he's behind. He's going to add the 2nd town center on the gold. And then he's going to transport the knights across the middle. This could be big.
Yeah, for sure. Depends on how well Villese is going to be able to defend there on the north side. He needs to get a TC up as soon as possible. He has a monk there. He has... Oh, yeah, okay. If that TC goes up, and we're talking about Sicilians' TCs, they're up 100% faster. So I think that is going to be able to save him a lot of potential anger. Or damage.
Yeah, also, also, he's got the monastery at home, too. So he definitely was aware of this possibility before it even happened. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And the TC with any other civ would definitely be denied. With Sicilians, surely this goes up. You should notice this.
Yeah, for sure. He's already queuing up, and beautiful reaction by Villese, not losing anything except the scorpion in the process. And on the left-hand side, he's still being annoying with those knights, T90.
Wow, yeah, and I mean, Villese is on point with his conversions. He was in game 1 as well, but he's just got the monks ready every single time. And the conversions also a little fast, benefiting him, but that's what happens with monks. And 58 eco versus 47. Villese now takes a score lead, 3 TCs. Looking very rough for my friend Miguel right now.
Exactly, especially we're talking about village discrepancy 59 to 48, so the lead here for Villese, and neither of them has willpower. And if you're looking at the economy upgrades right now, Miguel is really suffering a lot. Yes, he's Saracens, you can use the market very nicely, but only to a certain point, and now Villese is going for willpower as well. Overall, his economy looks so much healthier.
Yep. Yeah, he does. And I mean, this happened after he lost his fish.
Yep.
But, you know, it was the transition we talked about. Galleys, you have to babysit a lot.
Yep.
And you can't focus on other aspects of your game as much with galleys. And I also think it suits the Sicilians to want to get the farm upgrades faster too, right?
Yep.
Like, I know Sicilians isn't our #1 pick for this. You're never going to get your #1 pick for games in this tourney, but it just sounds pretty strong. Switch into farms, grab the TCs, and just don't give up water completely right away, and you'll be okay.
Exactly. Also, Villese is expanding to the left-hand side, so he is completely ignoring the fact that... I don't even think he has scouted that. No, he doesn't even know that Miguel is on the right-hand side. So it was a bit on quote-unquote lucky that he went for the left-hand side instead of the right-hand side. And yeah, it just feels like his economy is set up very... so much better than Villese. And if we're thinking about late-game composition, Saracens obviously a powerhouse. Thinking about how well they could be doing against the Sicilians there, T90, what do you think?
Well, I think that Saracens are the better Civ if it's like a 50-minute no rush game, you know? But Saracens just can't really compete economically all that well because Sicilians have amazing farmers. They have the faster TCs. Saracens have the market. You know, that is an eco bonus in a sense, but it's not really something that has worked out for Miguel thus far, and his bonus is gone.
Exactly.
I think what's particularly tricky is that against Sicilians, they have very strong Cavalier, and Saracens have camels, and you should really never be going counter units against Sicilians. It's all about the gold units that you have. So I think that's why we're seeing Miguel switch to Cav Archers. I actually think Cav Archers is one of his best options.
I agree.
I'm just not sure if it's the correct time for that.
And also the question is he going to be able to get up the numbers? On the right-hand side, Villese he was about to drop a castle more to the TC of Miguel, but those two knights prevented that, and now he's going to get the castle up anyhow. And T90, he has 14 on stone, so he's going to be able to throw out a lot of castles here.
Man, that was another very fast conversion for Villese there. He's going to have both sides controlled. So Jordan, question real quick. Do you think that it makes a lot of sense to give a civilization that, big moment, big moment, big moment, big moment, I'll shut up for now.
I was just let you talk.
I think is trying to drop a castle.
No, this is the hype moment, T90.
Okay, castle goes up, but oh man, Villese is up to Imp, Jordan.
And he's placing, Villese is placing another castle here on the right-hand side. He knows exactly that there is no need for him, and that castle is not in range. That's pretty bad for Miguel. So he knows exactly Villese is, that on left-hand side, he doesn't have to fear any aggression coming from Miguel whatsoever, and therefore he fully focuses on the right-hand side. Now his monks on left-hand side, they're going to be denied, I would assume. But yeah, Villese is just in such a commanding position right now.
Yeah, I mean, he has the left controlled, and then he's going to win the Treb War on the right. In fact, there won't even be a Treb War. It would just be Miguel stuck in Castle Age. So
look at his resources. That's looking
ever since. Oh, excuse me, sorry.
Bless you.
Ever since the start of Feudal Age, Villese has been in control here. Like he was able to transition into his eco upgrades and his eco a whole lot stronger. And you know, I also think the approach of going fire galleys was just a little bit stronger.
That's the tough thing on those maps, the transitioning. If we're talking about hybrid maps, it's mainly dependent on how good your decision making is, and decision making is you know, the key for having the right transitions. And we saw Villese has done the better transitions, going for the food economy a bit faster on land, and now we see him in a complete domination position because he has stables on the right hand side. He will be able to kill that ram without any problem, and traps are going to come up as well. Yeah,
and for Miguel, he's going to see this and he's going to be like, oh, you got to be kidding me. You
Exactly.
gotta be kidding me. I mean, the Rams won't work, and Miguel taps out, calls the GG.
Mm.
I can't help but think back to that hole for Miguel though.
Yeah, that
Like,
was. Oh,
so unfortunate. He killed so many vills. He killed like 4 vills, and he
yeah,
also delayed where Velez was going to place the town center.
exactly.
And I think if there's not a hole there, he gets his monks and a couple knights out faster, and he doesn't have to run away from all his resources. I think he would have been okay. But that was like a double whammy. The fact that the transitions were better for Velez,
Yeah,
and Velez ran through that hole was what
exactly.
GG'd Miguel.
Exactly. But honestly, I didn't see the hole there, T90. I did not see the hole.
Yeah, it's tough to see.
Mm.
It's like I'm not sure if it's because of the type of tree or just the fact that the majority of us don't play on maps with these trees.
Yep.
So it's harder for us to notice the hole. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's maybe a combination of both.
Exactly. I think both factors into that, and yeah. I mean, this is just so tricky. Miguel is going to be down to 0 now, and his last home map is going to be Frisia, if I'm not mistaken, or is it Coastal Mountain?
I think it's Coast to Mountain. Yep.
Coastal Mountain. Oh yeah, it's Coastal Mountain.
Yeah. Now, according to Miguel, this is interesting. When I talked to him a couple weeks ago, he actually said he preferred to place the TC around where Velez is placing it. So he's gone for the insta TC start here
Okay.
on Coast to Mountain game 3. And also Villager heading over immediately to dock, but obviously you're at a disadvantage due to the fact that you can't place a lumber camp as easily if you do it this way.
Yep.
And Velez is not going to lead lumber camp as he places his TC right between the wood line, Jordan.
Yep. Exactly. So the TC of Villese is just beautiful. I love that. That's exactly at the space between those two small forests. And I think he couldn't have asked for a better one in terms of the wood income. And Villese, he's going for a very aggressive dog, isn't he?
Yeah, it is pretty far forward. You know, I just thought of something, and I think Miguel's doing it. If you expect to suck on water against fires that heal or repair or whatever you call it, regenerate,
Yeah.
this start where you take the straggler trees actually isn't that bad because you can get like 2 fishing ships out maybe even 3 before the lumber camp, and then you just don't fight on water in the first place. You know, that maybe that's the thought process. Get as much food as possible while you can, and then transition into land in feudal age.
As a Vikings player. Alright, right. You said Vikings player?
Yeah, Miguel, Vikings. He didn't go for a lumber camp yet, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It is an idea because with the way Villese is approaching that one, he knows that Vikings don't have fire galleys, and therefore he wants to get the dock as close as possible to his opponent's dock. So it is definitely an option. You wanna maybe queue up certain galleys as well, just to be able to snipe off the fishing boats. But let's see, Villese, he's obviously having a huge task in front of him because Miguel, he has had some great shows on this map in the tournament so far. And, you know, Miguel, he's that kind of player who likes to prepare. So I'm pretty sure we will see something very special from him.
And I mean, thinking ahead to that whole conversation we're going to have on galleys versus fires, Les could maybe scout to see if there's even a second dock for Miguel. And if he doesn't see a second dock, then he could just play into land and know that if it's one dock making fire galleys versus one dock making galleys, he'll be okay.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, but scouting is very hard on this map because, first of all, it's super big. Second of all, you have the Bactrian camel instead of the normal scout, which doesn't have as much line of sight here. And it's also a bit slower, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, it's just tricky because there are a lot of different ways to approach this map.
Yeah. It's a very large map. Like, you need to look... It's not like a Arabia game where you find their TC, you find their gold, you find their barracks, their mill, whatever, and it's all in the same spot. Like, you've got to look at the shoreline, you've got to look wherever their TC is, and the woodline. So there's just so many different areas. I think the Bactrian camel is actually faster than a scout, by the way, in Dark Age at least.
Really? Wow.
I think so. I mean, I'm just eyeballing it here, so I don't know for certain.
It feels so slow. 1.2. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how fast the scout is. Maybe chat can help out there. So we have Miguel going up a bit faster than Villese, so roughly 25 seconds faster there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering, like, I don't see any sign of him trying to transition. Okay, no, there's a barrack forward for him. So he wants to put on the aggression as you suggested, T90.
Yeah, also, I mean, we're just talking small things here. If you're ever sending villagers to the north, if you're Miguel, after free wheelbarrow, you actually get there faster.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, helpful. Obviously, wheelbarrow is helpful as well if you're collecting resources, but just something to think about.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And apparently, the speed of both units are the same, T90, so...
Well, we were both wrong.
I was about to say we were both right. But, you know, it's all a matter of perspective, as we have declared at the beginning of the cast.
Well, look at Villes's camel here. He's used the not so speedy, not so slow camel, and he's seen the initial dock.
Yep.
But what he does not see is he does not see the barracks in the middle. So Miguel is going to open with galleys. I like this thought. You mentioned it. Make 2 galleys. Just try and snipe some fish because you're not going to be competitive in the long run. But he's going scouts here in the middle. Interesting.
Very interesting. Going scouts. The scouts is usually not the play we see. And I also don't think that the scouts play is going to do too much for Miguel, because Villese, due to the fact that he has built the TC in the north side, he's going to be able to wall himself up very, very easily, as we can already see him doing. And I just don't see how he's going to be able to deal any damage, and he's going to be falling behind very heavily.
I think it depends, right? I think, like, the timing's there. That scout is on the way. If it goes right now, it'll kill that villager. But it's like, you have such a tight time window, and he's not trying to deny the walls. He's instead... He's trying to mass a couple scouts here.
Yeah. And that's not going to be the right approach here. But, of course, he doesn't have the information as we have. And now on water, it looks very desperate for Miguel, as he's about to lose the fishing boats. The fire galley is chasing down his galley as well. He has the second one coming in as well. But he doesn't want to fight, obviously. He wants to get the fishing boat kills himself. And now the scouts, they're not doing anything right now.
Let's see if he can kill some fish here. I mean, he's looking for them. The scouts could easily hit the hunt, though, for Villese. Like, Villese does not expect scouts at all.
Yeah.
So if Miguel were to loop, again, he doesn't know what we know, but if he were to loop, well, he could even deny the barracks, possibly. This could be...
He's not...
What the...
Shh, 90...
Don't say anything.
No.
Don't say anything.
What? How?
Calculated, baby.
How?
Calculated.
How can that even happen?
I mean, what if Villese assumes there's a stable in the back of his
exactly,
base? He's
exactly.
Like, did he make his scouts in the corner or something? Oh my god.
That's what I was thinking about right now as well, because Villese must be thinking, like, where did these scouts come from? Like, no way that he went through the TC, right? So there must be something in the corner.
It's funny how there's now a villager on the other side of the wall. This guy's like, this is not the plan. I was supposed to be in there with all my friends, and now I'm outside in enemy territory. Holy crap. But great damage control from Villese. He also lost only 1 fishing ship.
Yeah.
So I was impressed with him nonetheless. But still, I mean, the scouts could kill his villagers. He's got to be careful here.
Yeah, especially because 1 spearman is not going to be enough to fight off against 4 scouts. And he needs to pull off these villages as well for the fight. Nicely done by Miguel, only losing 1 scout in process, and now these villagers are going to be killed, maybe 1. No, I think he has to retreat here.
I'd love to see Miguel continue to add scouts and maybe get, like, it might be too much to ask because he's doing a lot, but maybe get an archer range. Just a few skirms or an archer or 2 for the spearman would do so much damage, but I guess at the same time, you don't want to overinvest here, Jordan.
Yeah, for sure. And I also... Okay, he was able to snipe off 1 archer with the scouts. I really like the economy distribution by Miguel. If you look at these resources, they're not looking too shabby, are they? Or do they?
And in the previous game, we talked about transitioning into farms with horse collar. That's all well and good, but this map is very different. You've got hunt everywhere, and if Miguel wants to, he could be so bold as to just move out into the middle of the map to take more food. So, yeah, I'm liking Miguel's position, and Villese is going to, I think, have a late castle age time compared to him.
Definitely. I mean, the only thing for Miguel right now is the problem that he has not gone to gold as fast as he could have gone, so I think he will not have the gold income. But yeah, it's going to be fine anyhow. And now Villese, as you mentioned, he's going to be trailing behind in terms of the cast stage time. Now adding the farms. He has the water though, and he has 7 fishing boats. So that's not something we can ignore here right now.
What's your long-term composition with the Bengalis? Because if I'm not mistaken, they don't get Arbalest and they don't get Knights. So what are you trying to make with this Civ?
It has to be either the Wrath. That's an option. Or what else do they really have going for them? I think their elephant archers are not too bad as well, but elephant archers suck.
Yeah.
I think you have to go for the unique unit there.
I like how you're like all Mr. Professional, and then you're just like, elephant archers suck. Everything else, you're like, so-and-so is not so good, T90. So-and-so is not the best move, T90. Elephant archers suck.
Oh, yeah. I just wanted to throw it out there, okay? I just wanted to throw it out there.
It's funny because one of the only games I watched you making elephant archers in, you died horribly. So I feel like you had some experiences that led you to that conclusion.
Yeah, it was not the best experiences in my life, I gotta say. However, Burgundians apparently have access to Arbalest, but they don't have Thumb Ring.
Oh, Bengalis? Okay, interesting.
They don't have Thumb Ring.
Well, that's not too bad then. I mean, neither do Vikings, right? So, I mean, you tend to think about Vikings playing out into archers too. So,
yeah. So, both civilizations are kind of equal in that regard. However, Vikings should have the better economy. Yes, Bengalis get more villagers upon reaching the next ages with the TCs, but I don't think it's going to make up for the fact that Vikings have free wheelbarrow and obviously free handcart.
Yep. Big thing here for Miguel is just don't want to make a tower. You want to kill this army without making a tower. It'd probably be better to even lose a villager or two, as long as you kill the army and don't make a tower. So
for sure.
You want to be able to add the TCs in this area. And Velez, he isn't really following this up with much, so I think Velez expects his army to be killed off at some point.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, you have to realize, okay, my opponent has skirms in the mix as well. And Velez, he still hasn't clicked up, while Miguel, he's 1 minute and 25 seconds away from hitting cast stage.
Yeah, very well done there from Miguel. Probably needs a new lumber camp in that wood line, but he's going to trap this army here, Jordan.
Yep.
And hopefully Miguel's freeze is stopped. He had paused, said, maybe he'd had to close a tab or something or call his internet company and complain. But that army is as trapped as it gets. Good night.
I've never seen an army being trapped like that on Coast to Mountain, I gotta say. And what is Villese doing here? Like, even
you know what
fight.
That feels like?
Yeah, go ahead.
Feels like, those areas in campaigns that are traps, and you're like, oh, what is this opening? This looks nice.
Yeah.
And you walk in, and there's some AI units waiting for you to kill you. That's exactly what that felt like.
I don't have too much experience with campaigns, but the way you describe it, I can definitely feel into that.
What? I thought you played campaigns all the time, please.
Yeah, in my early days, but hello. Who has got time for that?
Everything I know about you screams that you probably haven't played much campaigns, so that doesn't actually surprise me, but... Ooh, did Miguel see those archers moving forward? Because that's super risky for Velez.
It is super risky, and he's going to meet the skirms by Miguel, and Miguel has the perfect counter right away. He has botkin on those skirms as well, and he could bring those scouts back in order to trap those archers, and that's exactly what he's doing right now.
So there's 12 fishing ships now, but the town centers are so fast for Miguel, and he's going to have some offensive army that I think... We're not going to see a lot of kills at Miguel's base for a long time in this game, if ever, because Velez has nothing to counterattack with.
Yeah, exactly. And this is looking very nice for Miguel, having the map control. He is down in the village account, yes, but... Oh, we see the castle coming up for Villese, and that means we're going to see, indeed, the Rafa.
Yeah, once it goes up. There's actually weak villagers building it, too.
Yeah.
So I saw the Ratha... against Chukonu. I've seen the Ratha in instances on Arena. What I've learned is that they actually are not very good against skirms, regardless of how you use them.
Exactly.
If you go for the melee option, it's the only unit you can switch back and forth between melee and range. It's still all the same. I think skirms do bonus damage against them, and so I don't know. I just I'm excited to see the Ratha, don't get me wrong, but Bengalis, while they're rather new, feel like one of the more questionable civilizations on any open map these
Yeah,
days.
for
It's just
sure.
like really hard to know what to make with them.
For sure. Bengalis is very hard to play, especially on the open maps, as you mentioned. Now the cast is going to go up, but Miguel, he's going to be fine because that is playing into his hands. That is completely playing into his hands. The skirms are a good unit against the Rafa. And yeah, the only thing now Miguel needs is, you know, just chill back, get his economy going, and then power through with Vikings.
Yep. I guess the concern is, does Miguel know that skirmishers are good against them? Like, will we see a pause over the next 2 minutes as Miguel has to check the tech tree? Because it is rather new still, so...
Yeah, yeah. That would be a Hera thing to do, no?
Oh, yeah, for sure, for sure.
He
Yeah, I once
likes
saw
to...
Hera pause to check the tech tree for Turks after
Yeah.
he had played the game like 6 years straight, so...
Yeah.
I guess 1,000 and then, like, or maybe like 5,000 Hun Wars was the problem.
I've been there, man. I've been there.
And this, we said all these good things about the skirmishers, but the skirmishers aren't here, and the Ratha kills a villager.
Yep.
And this is the melee option, guys. You could switch it to range as well.
Yep.
So let's start here for Villese. The score lead's a little deceiving, but the fishing ships are working for him all along the coast.
Exactly. The fishing ships are not that effective anymore, though, because the fish is obviously very far away from the docks, so they are not going to be as successful with their efficiency. But the RAF are a bit annoying right now, and Miguel, he doesn't have the resources right now to... No, he has that, but he has not opted to go for the elite skirms yet.
Yeah, I think he's going to be like, wow, I actually destroy them with skirmishers, and then he's going to go boop and click elite skirm.
Yeah.
Elite skirm! Here's the boop.
Yeah. We have Villese right now adding the third TC. Miguel has been playing with the 3 TCs for a long time already. And man, his economy, it is looking very, very good.
Yeah, I'd say the main thing is, can he take engagements against these Ratha? I mean, straight elite skirm still is not a way to win the game. You know, it's a way to hold your position and then tech switch generally into something else. So, you know, we got the melee Rathas here. This is a true test. How good is this unit? And there's a lot of elite skirms, and the elite skirms are shredding them.
It's crazy. It's so crazy. Like, the Rafa have to close the distance against them, but it feels like Miguel is just not allowing to that to be done, and they're just having so much bonus damage against those.
Yeah, I want to go through it again. So they have full cav armor upgrades. Do the Bengalis get light cav at least? They should, right?
Bengalis light cav? I think they do. I think they do. The Dravidians have horrible stable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Bengalis should have them.
in theory, you could go Ratha and light cav. And I think that would actually be fairly good against Vikings, but the mobility of these Rathas is going to be the biggest problem. In Villese is moved right around. By the way, these things have 125 HP. A lot of people forget.
Yeah.
That is like a war wagon almost.
Yeah.
And great job here for Villese to just avoid the main area.
For sure. And now he's trying to be as annoying as possible with those Raf. And man, that monk, is that one surviving? No way.
I think he'll die.
Yeah.
And he'll be upset. He didn't get to bring the relic to his monastery. But good conversions here from the other monks.
Wow.
And well played, Miguel, to deal with that.
Beautiful execution by Miguel, not taking any damage or any crucial damage. And he was able to kill 7 Raf in the process. So that's definitely a trade I would be taking. And now we see Miguel, he is flirting with the idea of going up to Imperial Age pretty soon. Villese, he's not going to be too far behind. Now adding the 4th TC in the south side. And now I'm thinking, what could the Imperial Age composition be? So you're suggesting the Light Cav plus Raf combination. I'm wondering what Miguel is going for. Villese.
I would love to see Miguel go for Zerks. That would be amazing. But there's you kind of need castles for that, and you probably need to max out on Elite Skirmisher first.
Yep.
I'm not sure if we're going to get there, but he is going to click up to the Imperial Age here, Miguel, and he does have enough skirms to probably defend himself for the time being.
Yep.
I just love how annoying Villese is being, though. Like, yes,
yeah, for sure.
He was way behind in the villagers, but the fishing ships have been working. I'd love to see him start fish trapping, and he's just been in 2 different spots, and that's been an issue for Miguel here.
Yeah, for sure. Now
Oh,
also...
what is this castle for Miguel? Wait,
Oh,
what?
what? What?
He tried... I guess he thought he was going to get the house down there, Jordan.
Yeah, well, I don't know what he was thinking. Now he's getting the conversions with those monks. And isn't that a lovely fight? Rough against rough.
You got to switch them to melee, guys.
Yeah.
Miguel's probably like, what? I've never played with this unit in my life. What do I do?
Yeah.
He's using the range. And I guess this castle will... Oh, I was going to say it's going to go up, but this is... Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Siege! Could Siege deny this castle here?
It looks like that. I mean, he could switch those rough to the melee, and then he should be fine. Yeah, he's fine. He's fine.
Nice.
He's fine.
I think he's still going to need to drop a couple walls.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I guess he is fine. As he still has the Wrath on the right to deal with that he's chasing.
Yeah.
Miguel will get his castle up, and he's an imp way faster than Villese.
Yeah, Villese will go up to Imprilage now himself. And, you know, if Villese hits Imprilage with 4 TCs, that means he will get 8 villagers automatically. And he even has... Yeah, so that is a little boost for sure. But the castle of Villese, that one is in a very dangerous position, as it's going to be trapped down pretty soon.
I think Miguel, he needs to make a couple more archery ranges here. He's working off of 2.
Yeah.
Get like, 6 of those bad boys and put them right in the middle of the map. And get ready to produce here. Even being a little casual with it. Like 1 villager, nah, make it like 5 or 6. Get the production rolling, get your upgrades. And again, the question, what on earth are you going to make if you're Villese? I think he's going to have to prep stables somewhere to go light cav.
That's a very interesting question. Now, it feels like Miguel has heard you. He's adding further archer ranges. And I'm curious. End card coming in. We have a siege workshop coming in for Villese. And we know exactly what these armored elephants are capable of doing against buildings. And we also have pikemen, we have bracer, we have chemistry coming in for Miguel. So he is setting himself up very nicely. However, Vikings is not known to be the best Imprilage civ at all.
Yeah, they're not. It's just a question of our Bengalis. I think if they were to get the full siege elephant, full Ratha, and then also they're like, I think they have really good battle elephants.
Yep.
That could maybe work, but Miguel is going to be the one who takes initiative here. I just really hope that he can keep those trebs protected. I'd love to see a little house in front of the castles, because the Rathas still have an opportunity. It's probably risky, but they still could snipe some trebs.
Yeah, exactly. If I'm not mistaken, Bengalis have the unique tech that allows their elephants to attack 20 or 25% faster as well. So that could be an option. And we see Villese, he's adding the armored elephant. So I'm wondering, maybe even use that one to fend off the skirms in the south side. How cool would that be, T90?
What, to use armored elephants for that?
Yeah, against the skirms. That would be just such a boss move.
It would. I don't know if boss equals victorious move, but I guess we'll see. I do love this. Like, I don't know if it's really balanced the best right now. If anything, I think these siege elephants are a little weak, Jordan. But I think it's really cool. It's one of my favorite additions from all the expansions, and Villese is going to make a move.
Yeah,
he's going to give it his best shot here. And can Miguel get a wall here? Miguel, eject with your villagers.
He's
Nothing.
not.
Never mind.
And these are siege elephants right now, and the siege elephants are going to have a field day against the castle. I don't think that the berserks are going to be able to defend too much here. And now on the other side, Miguel is raiding with the skirms, and yeah, Villese is reacting to that, but he's going to lose a couple of villagers in the process here.
Yeah, Wrath is going down for Villese as well. I think Miguel's shocked. He's like, dang. These things are really strong, but I think he could have saved that castle there, Jordan. He had the villagers there to repair. He's got pikemen, he's got berserk. But good news for him is he continues to push.
Yeah, and I don't see how Villese can stop this right now. It looks very, very good for Miguel, having a beautiful economy behind that. Even 122 villagers for Vikings. That's, you could even make the argument that it's a little bit too much, but should be fine. We have Onagers. Love that move. Onagers coming out for Villese. And that could be the unit which gives him much more time again.
We had 2 straight games where Miguel had kind of lost control of it, and Villese he held on and just, you know, creamed his opponent. And it shows how good these players are because in this game, Miguel took control.
Yep.
And he said, see you later. Like, I got to see you in game 4 because I'm able to finish it out from here, I say, as he gets rocked by some onager shots. But still, I mean, he's able to make infantry, right? He's able to take care of the onagers. Miguel was always one step ahead in this game.
Yeah, exactly. The transitioning are coming in at the right moment, able to kill those Mang or onagers with the berserks. I would assume the castle is helping out with the defense. And now it feels like Villese is stabilizing a bit, but I don't really see him... What is his long-term plan here? I think that's something he doesn't really know himself yet.
No one knows.
Yeah.
I really like... I look at Bengalis, and the thing that comes to mind for me, unless we're talking a map like Arena, and I just feel like one of the worst civs in the game right now. Like, it just... I don't know what to make. And the Ratha gets countered by skirms.
Yep.
You can't just use the siege elephant, so it's tricky. But Miguel, you know, a little slow perhaps at transitioning. He's going for supplies and adding barracks.
Supplies, yeah.
So he's going to go champions here, I guess, Jordan. And you know, he's allowed Villese to sit back and think about this a little more than maybe we thought.
Yeah, and on the south side, we have a counter castle coming in from Villese against the castle of Miguel. And Miguel, it looks like he has no idea whatsoever that this is happening. And that means that's going to be a doubt castle, so that's a good move for Villese. And, you know, on water, it seems like he was able to fend off the aggression against those fishing boats as well. There were some longboats out harassing, but yeah, it feels like they're both transitioning into a very equal position because...
No way.
150 against 140. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, no, I can't, like... you heard the words I just said 2 minutes ago, and I'm like, yeah, Miguel will transition and kill this. But like, normally when you transition, you want to be working, you want to be fighting as you transition, right?
Yeah.
Like he had the range units, he had the berserks, and I figured, okay, he's gonna go champions and mix it in to have more. He just completely stopped attacking. He also stopped making skirms. There's not a single skirm on the map.
Yeah.
And his castle's denied. And he's down 2 games, and Miguel could be panicking right now. This could actually be an opportunity for Villese.
It definitely looks like that. He will try to gather himself a beautiful push on the center with a lot of siege workshops and barracks coming up. But on the northern side, yeah, what did you see?
It was a big onager shot. You see the bodies there on the ground.
Oh, yeah.
Zerks and pikemen got onagered down, and I mean, Miguel's gold is right behind this, Jordan. And he is going to lose those trebs to that elephant. What is happening? What is happening?
What a momentum shift from this game, and now Villese is taking control of the game. It feels like killing these traps with the siege elephant. Also, that castle is going to be a goner, and now it feels like Miguel's only option is to push Theo through the center, which he's successful doing. And now Villese has to react to this as soon as possible, but he has Wrath as defense as well. So I think in the long term, Villese is not in the worst position here, T90.
He has 2 relics, and there's no more skirmishers. So I think Rathas are a pretty good unit if you get to elite when you're using the range against something like champion. Champions are notorious for being weak against mobile ranged units. I don't foresee that changing, but I'll tell you what Miguel did do. He allowed us an opportunity for a crazy game because now he's got champions going against the castle on the shoreline, and he'll probably take that out. So he did allow his opponent back into the game, but he's giving us more entertainment here. This is going to be wild.
Yeah, and these champions should completely shred that castle, especially because that one doesn't have any upgrades to it. Masonry coming in now as well, and how's the other one called? I always forget. The short distance shooting.
Oh, Murder Holes.
Murder Holes. Ah, yeah.
You don't remember the name of Murder Holes?
Man,
you
I
really
always...
don't play the campaigns.
Man, I always forget. I always forget that shit.
I actually thought you were kidding, but I think you're being truthful about this.
No, I'm truthful. Yeah.
I gotta bring you into Cast Lowy the Legends one of these days, because it's a whole different world for you, bro. You would just be like, what is this? This isn't even the same game.
No, I can imagine. I would be even down to join for one.
Yeah. One, but man, look at Villese. He's evacuating the shoreline now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of gold here. It's a great job from Miguel to deny this. But now in the north, Villese is taking control.
Yeah.
And he's continuing with onagers. He's continuing with Rathas. And those are some nasty choke points for Miguel if he wants to run in there.
Exactly. The thing is, I don't necessarily think that he needs to run into that. That would be kind of suicidal to do so. And overall, a lot of things are going on the north-hand side, on the south-hand side. It feels like, oh, nice shot here, target by the Onagers, by Villese. And those champions are not really able to close the distance. Killing 2 Onagers in the process, but he lost a lot of champions as well. And
Yeah.
yeah.
This game's so funny. You got
Yep.
Seadram on the monastery for Velez. Velez just lost like 20 villagers to champions. It's
Yep.
like right when we think, oh, someone's going to take control, it shifts right back. Velez just took a good fight in the north there, and now he's dying.
Yeah.
And apparently champions are really good against Elite Ratha. Because Miguel continues to spam them, and there's no response for Velez.
Exactly. This looks very good for Miguel. He has almost 200 population, while Villese only has 127. And it feels like if we're talking about map control, Miguel has most of it. Yes, only the north-hand side. Villese is still continuing to push, but I don't think he's going to be too successful in that.
My only concern for Miguel is lack of wood, because that's where he's being
yeah.
attacked in the north is where the wood is.
True.
And if you don't have wood, you can't make skirms. And then if you don't have wood, you can't make farms to get food. So, like, I think if Velez could just hold his main base and continue to take the north, maybe he's okay. Because there's nothing that Miguel has to really push that castle back in the north.
Yep.
So Velez can hold there. He has to make sure he also holds in the south.
Exactly.
Or, like, west, I guess.
Exactly. But if we're looking at the population, it doesn't look too healthy for Villese. He's trailing behind 50 population there. But he has a very respectable army size of those Raf.
Yeah.
He lost lots of villagers, yes. But as you mentioned, Miguel, he's running out of the wood income. And that could be definitely a blow to his position.
Yeah, Miguel needs to have a castle to make trebs as well. And his castle is on the shoreline, which is the worst possible spot. It's on the other side of the map.
Yep.
So otherwise he'd have to go Rams. But I mean, he's queuing up champions. He went from queuing nothing up for 2 minutes to just... He turned into Goths, basically. The production from champions began to be insane. And Les still sitting on 130 pop. Miguel 190. He just has to finish off this game.
Exactly. There's nothing going on for Villese right now. Also, there's a castle coming up for Miguel on the northern side, and that will completely stop any potential aggression. And we see the champions killing the Raf pretty easily now. Especially, do you know if Chieftains has been researched?
I don't think it has been researched because he lost his castle pretty early on.
Yeah.
But the siege ram there is not something you can really stop easily. And Miguel is going to castle the north, so he's very confident he's got that position locked down.
Yep.
Also, you're seeing a few more skirms on the field from time to time for Miguel.
Yep.
And Miguel needed this win, but he also deserved this win. Like, game one was so good. Sometimes the scoreline doesn't really like represent how close or how good a series has been.
Yep.
And you know, he had a good game plan here, and I said it before, so I don't want to jinx the guy, but I think he's getting closer to closing this one out.
Like, I don't see any possible way how he can lose this one, but it feels like the population is getting closer and closer.
Yeah, the Ratha, the thing is, he's not killing the Rathas.
Yeah.
So these things, look at the KD for Velez, Jordan. It's 350 to 200. Yeah.
This is insane.
So, I mean, and the relics are still there for Velez to take.
Yeah.
He's now trebbing down the castle from Miguel in the north. Oh, God. Oh, no way, dude. Is Velez going to win this?
It kind of looks like that, doesn't it? I mean, now he's 50 population behind. Like, no way. He lost a lot of villages now in the center. And
he can add more vills. Like, he's got the TCs to add more vills. He's not spending any food. But Miguel needs, every time he goes in, he needs like 3 siege rams. He's trickling a little bit. He needs to have his siege rams together when he runs in.
Yeah, and also it feels like he needs some skirms as well to fight off against those Raf.
Yeah, but the wood, I think, was the problem, right?
Yeah.
The wood is an issue.
Yeah.
He's never floating wood, and this is a guy who's not even making siege.
Yeah.
So he does have tons of stone and gold, though, in the south, you see. So, I mean, there's no shortage there.
Yep. But yeah.
And Velez calls it. Okay. Finally, he calls it.
At one moment, I felt like Villese could be able to come back into this one. But yeah, Miguel was able to make the right calls there and managed to get the first victory in this set for him.
Okay, so If Velez was Mongols making only Megadai, does he come back there?
I don't really think so, because it feels like his economy would not be good enough. And with Vikings, with the skirms, you have a potential to fight off against those Mangadai.
Okay. I was just curious what your thoughts were on that.
Mm.
Because, trying to still get a feel for this Ratha unit, it definitely felt like the main issue for Velez here was that the scouts got in. The scouts got in, killed a bunch of villagers, set him back, and
Yeah.
also he wanted to go crossbow, but he just ran out with archers before any upgrades, took a big risk, lost
Yep.
those two.
Mhm.
So maybe some question marks when Miguel just didn't finish off Velez as quickly as we expected, but
Yep.
he
Exactly.
benefited from all the control he took earlier
Yep.
and played really well.
Yep. Very strong and smooth play by Miguel. Now, finally grabbing the first victory for him. I'm sure that's going to be a huge relief for him, because if he had lost that one, he would have been out of the tournament. And we are going to jump into game number 4 in a moment, I would assume. T90, I will quickly refill my water. Be back.
Yep, go ahead. I don't know if on Jordan's side he is going to join the game, but we have Nomad game number 4. It is Koreans versus the Poles. And oh my god, Miguel's doc makes me want to puke. Oh, oh, he didn't know. He didn't see all the shoreline. That's a pretty bad doc for him. There's no restarts available in this tourney, so he's kind of stuck with that. And he is on the shoreline connected to Velez as well. Velez is very close by. And you just saw the dock?
No, Miguel.
Dude, he didn't see the other shoreline when he placed the dock.
Imagine, he's like...
He's checking to see if there's restarts right now. I guarantee you
not.
he's checking to see if there's restarts.
Yeah, he's pausing. So, no, there are no restarts in this tournament. I absolutely hate restarts, so that's why we don't have those. And, if we're taking a look at his point of view, he came in from the northern side, saw the water, saw the shorefish, and when you see this, the likelihood of the water being there instead of land on the south side is, I would say, rather high.
I'm trying to think, is this the worst possible dock?
Yeah.
Like, I'm looking around for worse positions. I think there's maybe one that's worse, kind of towards the north, but even I mean, all these quote-unquote bad places I'm looking, still don't look this bad.
Well, on the right-hand side, there could be something where the deer is spawning. You could maybe make the argument if he places the dock there at the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, but...
Oh, gosh.
No,
Well, on the bright side, he is far away, but what do you think about the Civ matchup? Docs aside, Koreans versus Poles. I think Koreans are a little more established than the Poles.
Poles on Nomad. That is rather surprising to me, because Poles, they excel in these situations where you build the mill and build the folwark and get the farms around, and Nomad is not typically the map where you do so. So huge advantage there for Villese. And also as Koreans, you have the bigger line of sight as well for the villagers, which makes your start so much easier.
So back to what we were saying earlier. You got to look at life on the bright side, right?
Yeah.
The bright side is your Poles, and you're going to focus on farms anyways.
Yeah.
So who cares if your fish sucks? Obviously, you still want to have good fish, and that's going to have to be his approach. But
wow, this is...
ouch.
You could be a mental positive coach, T90. Like, look at it the bright side, man. Your dog doesn't matter anyway.
It's funny because like when I'm playing and I'll place a lumber camp that's slightly off from where I need to place it. I'm not this person. I'm like, oh god, this is so bad.
Yeah, especially because these are mistakes where you would be like, this is so easily preventive, right? So
yes,
it's just super annoying. And these are the type of moments in life where you're like, come on, just a little bit more focus, and you can prevent that so easily.
Yeah, well, okay, so people are going to make farm jokes, right? Like, oh, T90, just pay attention to farms.
Yeah.
I don't mind making mistakes if I don't have to look at it, okay?
Yeah,
but
exactly.
In this case, the dock,
you have to
look at the dock.
Yeah.
And that reminds you. And it's like if you place a bad lumber camp, the whole Dark Age, you're reminded of it.
Yeah.
But, you know, if it's like Castle Age or Imp and I'm placing a couple farms that don't really fit next to the mill,
Who
I don't
cares?
look at it.
Who cares?
Yeah, I'm looking at the fight and
Exactly.
the impeccable micro. So yeah, it's all about when you make the mistake. And I could guarantee you, Miguel's like, you got to be freaking kidding me. Like
And
the
yeah,
zebra one game, the doc the next. What's going on here today?
exactly. And one thing which is also important to keep in mind is if you're doing the farms in Castle Age or in Imperial Age not that well placed, then it's not going to have an impact too much in the game because, you know, you started with that in Castle Age or in Imperial Age. If we now look
Yeah,
at the dock, it is going to be besides you the entire game. So
yep.
it will have an impact on your mentality, man. Because you will be proven of your mistake all the time.
On the bright side, though, I have seen some pretty bad docs, and there's at least deep fish here.
There is,
And he's
yeah.
only traveling like twice the distance to get the fish.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know, and I think like in the event that he doesn't want to focus fully on water, it might actually end up being a positive that he's next to Velez's dock. We'll
Yeah.
see, but yeah, maybe he could sneak something over there.
Yeah.
Looking at the sheep scouting, Miguel has not really found anything that
Yeah.
indicates where Velez is docked or where Velez is TC'd. And then for Velez, he knows exactly where Miguel's town center is.
And he knows where Miguel's dogs are not. Because he
True.
has scouted a lot of the shore already, around 50%. And he is going to be like, it has to be on the other side then. And yeah, that shrinks out the potential dog position for Miguel.
Yeah, and he's kind of eliminated the docks that would be far from him.
Yeah.
So at this point, he's got to like sense blood in the water, and he's just gonna think, well, I've got to kill his fish because it's gonna be close.
Yeah. And
Now,
Villese,
here's a
yeah,
thought, Jordan.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Yeah.
just trying to spice it up here.
Okay. I
What
like
if
spicy. Yeah, go ahead.
Velez comes sailing by the dock, and because of the dock location, Miguel can like hide the fish. He pulls them back. It's like a parking spot between two buildings in a busy city. Just pulls them back, hides them in there, and then he just pops out with a bunch of fires. And Miguel's like, "What? I scouted the whole map. What's going on here?"
Maybe even go one step further and say, oh, he's Poles. He didn't dock.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, it's Miguel on Nomad. He wouldn't dock, But no, I think that's unlikely. Obviously, Miguel's going to want to fish. So,
Yeah.
sad times. But there is a sheep for Miguel staring at a house at Velez's base. So he is, Miguel is very much aware that Velez lives somewhere close by.
Yep.
But I mean, the scouting for Velez, I have to say, is so impressive. It's
Yeah.
not easy to do that.
No.
And I'm sure it's really confusing for anyone who's new to the game right now to see sheep scouting shorelines, but he's scouted everything and now he's going to find the dock.
Yeah. And he sees that. And how did he see that?
Well, he lost the sheep.
He lost the sheep, right?
Yeah, the one that's running away. Yep.
Okay. Now, Villese going up to Fuel Age. Very good build. 25 economy units, 20 villages, 5 fishing boats, and he's going to be completely able to wreck that dock position of Miguel. Do you think that Villese is scratching his head right now and be like, what is this dock position, Miguel? What is this dock position?
I'm laughing because Miguel just accidentally rang the town bell.
Oh no.
Oh, just a quick little ding 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 and all the villagers hopped in and out. I think Velez is, we're casters. We have more time to talk.
Yep.
I think he's just happy. He's like, I'm up 2-1 and I'm going to be able to get a lead. And he might even, he's definitely going to win water. So he's going to get to think about what his next plan is.
Yep.
Which is probably going to be on land. So this is incredible for the Finnish player.
Exactly. Miguel, however, he is heavy on stone already. He's going up for Fuel Age now. 1 minute trailing behind in terms of that timing behind Villese. And I guess he already knows what this game could be looking like. And yeah, okay. Is he going for fast castle? It kind of looks like it, but it then again does not.
It's like, it's in between. This is the worst thing. If you're going to go feudal age attack, you want to be feudal age as fast as possible to do it. If you're going to go castle age, you want to get to feudal age and be able to do it.
Yeah.
But to get to feudal age and not be able to do anything is the worst possible spot for Miguel. And from the town bell to the dock, It's just been one unfortunate thing after the other for him.
Exactly.
And it's 3 docks for Velez. So there's no way Miguel will keep that fish alive. And he's going
No,
to lose that.
no chance, no chance. On the bright side for Miguel is that due to Villese adding so much dogs, that means that he's not going to have the wood for transitioning onto land as soon as Miguel does. And now
Yep,
look
true.
at that. Look at that outpost. What kind of information that gives to Villese?
Yep. I mean, the Korean villager also has a lot of vision, right? You could
Yep.
just park a villager there.
Mhm.
And I love that. This is, again, unfortunate for Miguel. It's like he's looked everywhere. He sees the house. He sees the ville. He's trying to make an outpost.
Yep.
And he can't finish the outpost. What he doesn't know is that the tower's going up there. And that's such a good spot for that tower.
Exactly. And that tower is going to deny all the wood income for Miguel. I think at this point you have to counter tower here. You have to.
Couldn't you also just place another lumber camp?
It just feels like...
Okay. Or he counter tower. But now he has to lead his lumber camp because the villager's trapped, and the villager's still trapped anyways.
Oh,
God.
Oh, that hurts. And he lost all the fishing boats as well. This is looking so good for Villese right now.
Yeah, like, the fish was expected, but, like, everything else here. I mean, by the time he actually gets the res to go up here, Jordan, Velez is going to be up as well, because Velez's fishing ships are bringing him food. So this is a painful thing to watch for poor Miguel.
Yeah, for sure. He's going to win the war, the tower war. Obviously, he's up to gas stage himself now, using the market very, very heavily. And the thing is, it looks like Miguel, the only way for him to come back into this game is to go for a super YOLO castle drop onto Villese's base. But honestly, I don't see that one happening, T90.
No. I don't see it happening either. Feels bad. You know, you want to be talking about strategy and whatnot at this stage of the game.
Yeah.
So it sucks to see the position. Like, something definitely happened mentally at some point for Miguel, too. Because, like, maybe after the dock,
With the dock,
he
you
just
could tell.
didn't know what to do. Because look at the mill. Like, the full work's not even on the berries, right?
Yeah.
So, like, that would be a spot where you could at least have a little bit of food income there before you build the farms.
Yep. And now
Velez is fine.
Now these two villagers are trapped. And they're going to be
Which is
killed
kind
by
of
the
funny,
archer.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe...
Oh, there's an archer coming. No.
Exactly. And Miguel was like, okay, I got myself in there. Awesome. But now these two villagers are dead. And Villese is 2 minutes behind in terms of the castle timing. So
Yeah.
he's going to be in a very good position right now.
Yeah, just sit the archer there and then just repair that tower. The tower will actually stay up.
Yeah.
And if he continues to do this, and Miguel can't afford a night, I mean, I don't think he can.
No, he can't.
Then you're going to have guard tower pretty soon.
No.
So
No.
maybe one night. Yeah, one night's on the way.
No. The thing is, I'm wondering what is going through Miguel's head right now. Because he needs to get a castle up as soon as possible onto Villese's face. But look at the stone income. He has 200 stone right now. So that's not going to work. And this knight is going to have a problem against that archer and spearman combination as well. Because there is no way this knight can fight this right now with the upgrades it has.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, at this point, in his mind, he's saying this is over, but I should try a little bit more.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
like, do something. It's you never know. It's unlikely Velez would ever lose from this position, but you know, you made it this far. You should continue to try something. Like, if this knight kills 5 villagers, suddenly you start to feel a little bit better about your situation.
Yeah.
And he did actually add a dock in the north, so he has had a little bit of fish there, which has certainly helped him out a little bit.
Yeah, the problem is his table is fully walled in right now, and he cannot... Yeah, he doesn't even have the resources to build a knight right now, so...
Yep.
He will not have any food income right now. And the knight on the other side is not going to be too successful as well.
Yep, just not the type of game you want when you're on the brink of elimination, and Miguel just says, GG, good luck.
Yep.
After seeing the uptime, probably a good time to call it.
Yep.
Kind of a disappointing end to the series, because Miguel... Game 1 was really close. That could have gone either way. Game 2, you know,
For sure.
that one maybe wasn't quite as close, but still, I felt very good game. Game 3, he gets the victory. Not what you want in Game 4, but, you know, maybe just should have thought a little bit more about the dock position, and also maybe you don't give Velez Koreans. I mean, Koreans feel pretty strong on Nomad, whereas Poles just felt very awkward.
Yeah, Poles is definitely not the civilization you would want to have on Nomad. And yeah, with that dock going up, I mean, we saw the dock going up, and then all of a sudden Miguel paused. I don't think that was coincidence.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think you were mentioning the moment where Miguel had a little breakdown, and I think that was that moment.
Yep. And it's understandable, right? Because you already know what you're up against with the player, but then the circumstances have changed.
Yep.
And Nomad is not really a map where you can do a lot to recover from that
No,
because the
you
dock
can't.
is so important. So you're just kind of stuck.
Yeah, exactly.